Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. So this morning, it's bright and early on Saturday, and I want to take the F-150 out for really my first off-roading, I guess you'd say, in terms of a video for YouTube, and give just sort of my first impressions. This is not going to be any crazy off-roading, I don't believe. Where we're going, I've actually never been before, but there is a small town north of Phoenix that the entire town is for sale. The only way to get there is, I believe, through quite a long fire road. And there's some other off-roading up there, so we're going to go check it out again. It's about a 2-hour drive. So with that, let's hop on the road and get up there. So here I am, I've made it to Cleator, Arizona. This is a city that's about an hour and a half north of where I live in Phoenix. And I've wanted to come out here for, really honestly, probably about 2 years. This is something that I want to say maybe a little less, about a year ago. I saw a news story that Cleator, Arizona, the entire town, was for sale for about $1 million. I checked this morning and it still says it's listed for sale. And the people in the store where I stopped and bought a t-shirt also said that yes, it is still for sale. So I don't find any better fitting spot for Cletus McFarland than Cleator, Arizona. But I thought this was a great place to come and test the F-150 off-road for the first time. These are just basically washboard roads, fire roads, I guess you'd call them, that get you in and out of this area. There's a ton of off-roading going on out here. Really awesome, actually, place that it took me about 10 miles off of the highway to get here. So really, really nice drive, and honestly, the scenery, you don't get any better than what you have out here in Cleator, Arizona. So as I'm monkeying around with these drive modes in this off-road, modest off-road setting, it's very interesting to see the level of configurability that you have in these settings. So right now I am in deep snow / sand, and what I find is that it will not kick into just electric mode. It'll keep the motor running so that all the while you're having a higher power band, and it's really putting you in that situation where if you were in some deep stuff, traction control is disabled and you could really just get that wheel speed up to get through whatever it is you're trying to get through. Again, you do lose going into strict electric mode. It'll keep the gas motor on the entire time. So what's interesting with this is I've also noticed that it'll keep the locker engaged over 30 miles an hour. Now, I do find some benefits into going back to just regular normal mode where you see it'll go back to 2 high, but I can shift it back into 4-wheel high and re-engage the locker, which it'll tell me I have to slow to below 20 miles an hour. Now the rear locker is re-engaged, and now I can run off-road in strictly electric mode. One critique I have with the electronics is I love this EV coach that they have, but it's on a screen that doesn't show you any other information. It would be nice if you could get this little electric bar in another screen where you have maybe your off-road information. I don't know, it's kind of a bummer that the only place you get to see this information is in this EV coach. What this is telling you is how to feather the throttle, where if you stay in this mode, or if you stay in this range, you'll stay in electric mode only. So if I get off the throttle, it goes to charge only. And then if I get back on the throttle, I know where to keep it in that sweet spot to basically keep the truck in this electric mode the entire time. It's really interesting. There's so much configurability with this. It's pretty crazy. So comparing this 2021 Ford F-150 Powerboost to my last truck, which was my 2015 GMC Sierra, I will say the FX4 package is far better than the Z71 out of the box in terms of handling on these types of roads. I was doing about 30 miles an hour on some of these roads, and sure, I can already hear people saying that you have vehicles like this, the Subarus. I do love reading the comments from the people who think that every off-road video is not off-road worthy unless it's Moab, Rubicon Trail, some sort of crazy off-roading. But for me, this truck was purchased mainly for the YouTube channel, but I also work in construction, and I think most people who buy pickup trucks don't need them to go rock crawling, but more or less need them to get to remote areas, job sites, things like that. A big reason why I bought the Powerboost is because my truck will spend plenty of time on job sites idling, basically working out of my truck, the work surface, all those things. There's a lot of reasons why I bought this Ford. Now, I've made some videos recently that the ownership experience hasn't been great for, say, the first 6 months. However, they did replace a computer module, which drastically changed this truck for the better. It's been in there for like a week or so. I'll make another video separate of this one, talking about some of that stuff. But so my impressions with this 2021 Ford F-150 Powerboost Off Road, very, very good. I'm comparing it to my outgoing 2015 GMC Sierra, and I will say that I do think the suspension, the package on the FX4 coming out the door compared to the Z71, at least in 2015, this is far superior. Yes, of course, it is a newer model year. I am not comparing this to a 2021 GMC Sierra, so it's not necessarily a totally fair comparison, but I'm just speaking in terms of vehicles that I have owned. Going from the Sierra to this Ford, the Ford is far better out of the box in terms of off-road. With my old Sierra, the interior trim and pieces, all the plastics really started to rattle a whole lot when you were doing, say, 30 miles an hour on an off-road trail like this. The Ford, way more composed. I was very impressed with how this thing held up in terms of running 30 miles an hour down these washboard roads. This truck handles it very well. I am very interested in adding suspension upgrades similar to what I did on my 2015 GMC Sierra. I do know that Bilstein has some shocks out there that I would love to take a look at. There's some other options out there too. I'm not totally sure where I want to go with this build. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have any thoughts on what direction you think I should go with this. Now, I was going to take this trail another 10 miles this way. However, I did start to notice that there are more sharper rocks that I'm noticing on the path here. What you see here, some things like this, some sharper rocks that are kind of poking up, and with the factory 20-inch wheels that are on this truck, I really don't want to risk getting into the sidewall or blowing a tire at this point. This is not really a great tire and wheel package for an off-road truck. I honestly don't think they should put these on the FX4s, but they do it more for a styling thing than they do an off-road thing. It's kind of the world that we live in now. So I will be changing those out very soon to some other wheel and tire package to make it a little more off-road worthy. With that being said, guys, again, I just wanted to get out here and do my first real off-roading with this truck and get a feel for it a little more before I go and do anything else, maybe a little bit more aggressive. And I couldn't have picked a better day. It's about 50 degrees out here in Arizona. Beautiful sunny morning, and Cleator, Arizona. So if you are either Cletus McFarland or somebody else with $1 million floating around and you would like to buy an entire town, Cleator, Arizona is for sale. It can be yours. And what a great off-road playground if it's something you might be interested in. So I'm still a little bit young in my YouTube career to consider buying towns, but If you guys like, share, and subscribe, who knows, maybe I'm out here buying Cleator Arizona one of these days. But with that being said, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, please hit that subscribe button down below. Remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. I will see you guys next time.